Then next, it is the body cavities. Anatomy and physiology typically describe the two sets of internal body cavities. It is called as the dorsal and the ventral body cavities. If we say that dorsal cavity, it contains organs of the nervous system that coordinates the body functions, while the ventral contains organs that involving homeostasis or constant internal environment within a small range of deviations. So these are the body cavities. It is divided into two, the cranial and the ventral and the dorsal cavity. The dorsal body cavity has two subdivisions, the cranial and the spinal cavity. The cranial cavity is the space inside the bony skull. The brain is well protected because it occupies the cranial cavity. The spinal cavity extends from the cranial cavity nearby to the end of vertebral column. The spinal cord, which is the continuation of the brain, it is protected by the vertebrae which surrounds the spinal cavity. Then the ventral body cavity is much larger than the dorsal cavity. It contains all the structures within the chest and abdomen, that is, the visceral organs and those regions. Like the dorsal cavity, the ventral cavity, it is subdivided. The superior thoracic cavity is separated from the rest of the ventral cavity by a dome-shaped muscle which is called as the diaphragm. The organs in the thoracic cavity are somewhat protected by the rib cage, a central region called the mediastinum that separates the lungs, and to the right and left cavities and the thoracic cavity. The mediastinum itself houses the heart, the trachea, and other visceral organs. The cavity inferior to the diaphragm, it is the abdominopelvic cavity. Some prefer to subdivide it into the superior abdominal cavity, containing the stomach, the liver, the intestine, and other organs, and an inferior pelvic cavity, which the reproductive organs, the bladder, the rectum. However, there is no actual physical structure dividing the abdominal and pelvic cavity.